it's so good to see you.
Charlotte, good to see you too. Hope all is well as we come down the home stretch here for the dog show.
It's getting really exciting. The smell of turkey, pumpkin pie, and the National Dog Show. So what's new at the National Dog Show presented by Purina this year? And how is it different than last year?
Well, last year we had a limited entry. It was champions only. This year the show is open again, but because of the pandemic last year, we limited it to champions only and 500 dogs. And this year it's open again. We have over 1,500 dogs, as you just said. And spectators are allowed. They have to be vaccinated, but we're going to have our normal large crowds and a big pile of dog shows.
Big dogs.
Dogs.
You're tired already, and we haven't even had the show yet. So you got to get on your A game, David, and get some rest before the big show. Okay.
All right. I got to adjust my dosage. I'm ready to go.
Why do dog lovers really need to watch the most viewed dog show on Thanksgiving Day?
Well, I think, first of all, it's because we all love our dogs. We all have this great spiritual and emotional connection to our dogs. They're members of our family. So watch the dog show and root. You know what? Root for your dog. If you've got a Brittany at home, root for the Brittany in the dog show and watch the Brittany being shown and hear the things that we have to say about it. Learn some things about dog care, responsible ownership, and how much we love our dogs. And we want to share that with you and get you suitably fired up.
You know, I think the other thing is so many people want dogs right now. It's a great way to go look at some of the dogs that you might not even know exist. I mean, everyone knows the Golden Retriever and the French Bulldog and the Dachshund, but there's so many other great dogs.
You're going to see a lot of dogs that you don't see walking down the street. We have 187 different breeds and varieties in the show this year out of 209 possible. So that's a phenomenal number. And you can see things and you can wonder, and hopefully we'll answer the questions that you're wondering at home. What's the deal on that poodle haircut? You know, we'll tell you what the basis is, why that haircut is the way it is, and what these dogs were bred to do, and what that tells you a little bit about their temperament and their personalities and their conditioning needs and things like that. So if you want to be a responsible owner, hopefully you'll learn some things from us.
You know, we know what the popular breeds are, and like we said, we're going to see a lot of dogs that are not so well known. Talk to us about the breed entries. Like, which breed has the largest entry, and then which breed has the smallest entry?
You know, oddly enough, the largest entry is Chesapeake Bay Retrievers. And
really?
they have 47 dogs entered. They do a big supported entry amongst the club that they have, and the parent club as well, the American Chesapeake Bay Retriever Club, and they make a big deal out of this show every year. So 47 of them, but we have 44. We have 44 Goldens, and we've got 37 Labs and a bunch of Siberian Huskies. As we often do. So those are up in the 30s as well. I think we have 4 or 5 breeds that have over 30 entries. We have another 12 or so that have over 20 entries. We have about 18 different breeds that only have a single entry. So
really?
Yeah.
Like who?
Well, I don't have it right in front of me, but like the dogs that you would think are a little bit rare. The American Water Spaniel, dogs like that you might not be able to see them on. We might not be able to get them on television anyway, but still, they've got one entry. If they come to the show, they play their cards right, and their dog goes into the ring and doesn't limp or get disqualified, they're going to end up being on television somewhere. So it's fun for everybody in that respect. Sure.
So in some cases, the competition isn't stacked. Everybody has a chance. But, you know, it's kind of like Goldens and Chesapeake Bay Retrievers. They kind of all look alike, right?
Well, I think we find that from people. And that's part of the fun of the show, is that everybody can judge from outside the ring. It happens to me. It happens to you. You're standing here and saying, geez, I really like that one. And the judge points out another one. And it happens to me. It happens to every dog person out there that we say, I don't know what happened there. You don't know until you get your hands on the dog, maybe, but you can like the dog you like for whatever reason you want to. And that's what makes great on television.
Yeah, it's kind of like horse racing. You know, it's kind of people say, I picked my horse because I like the colors of the jockey's silk.
Yeah.
You know,
that's right. Or the name.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So talk about how it works. How do you qualify for the show? You said this year it's not only champions, it's dogs.
It's not champions only. It's for all dogs that are AKC registered as purebred dogs. And that's what dog shows are all about, for purebred dogs. The AKC does a lot of things with dogs that are not purebreds. So this just happens to be the one that we are most visible in. The dogs are judged first at the breed level. So those 47 Chesapeake Bay Retrievers go into the ring,
and only one emerges.
And only one of them comes out. There's some other awards along the way, but one of them comes out as the best of breed Chesapeake Bay Retriever. And it advances into the sporting group, where the other breed winners from the sporting group breeds are waiting for it in the sporting group. So there'll be 34, I think, sporting dogs in the ring. And a judge will pick one of them as the group winner, and that dog goes on with the other 6 group winners to be the 7 finalists for best in show, and the best in show judge picks the dog that they think is the best. And it's like an advancing bracket in sports. You compete at the breed level, you win, you advance to the group level, you win, you advance to best in show.
And that's what you see on TV. You don't see the breed at the National Dog Show. You see the groups, the winners of those dogs, and then you go on to best in show. Right?
You'll see one of every breed that is entered, because we do a rundown with the camera in the group. So we flash on every single one of them. But because we're only a 2-hour show made for entertainment, we can't get all 187 of them in the final lineup for television. We can get about 50 of them in that final lineup. But along the way, you're going to see them hanging out in the ring with the other dogs.
And the reason I wanted you to talk about that is just so people don't feel left out if they don't see their breed compete in the first round, right?
We're in our 20th year, so in 20 years we've gotten most of them on the screen somewhere. If they give us an entry, we can get them on television. So it's fun. You'll see your dog somewhere. It might only be for a couple of seconds this year, and maybe next year it'll be for a minute or two, and see what happens. Keep coming back and keep rooting for your favorites.
One of the things that I think people don't understand is what we think of as a winner, the judges might not think of as a winner. We see the dog that looks smiling, his coat looks pretty, his tail's wagging, and we might even like that the handler looks good in her dress or has a big smile on her face. But the judges aren't looking at that, right?
The judges are judging each dog on its own merits. For each breed, there's a written standard that describes the ideal specimen of that breed, how tall it should be, what kind of coat it should have, what its tail should look like, what shape its eyes might be. Some of this stuff doesn't sound like it has to do with its function, but most of it does. Relating form to function. If you have an Afghan hound, they're a sight hound. They've got to be able to run their prey down. They've got to be fast. They've got to be athletic, and they've got to have a lot of other features too. But as the judge, you have to say how close this dog, in my mind today, comes to that ideal specimen described in the standard. And different judges will read the standard different ways. So that's why we get different winners on different days.
You've been a judge for a long time, so you know what you're talking about.
Well, maybe
analyst.
It depends. You have to ask whoever was in my ring that day as to how smart I may have been. But if their dog didn't win, then I must not be very smart. But if their dog won, they think I'm the greatest judge in the world. So
of course. Give us a few top contenders that we should look for.
Well, the top dog in the country this year in the show ring so far for the first 10 months of the year is a Samiad, and it's a beautiful dog, done a lot of winning. There's a Legato Romagnolo that's been doing a lot of winning, is the number 1 sporting dog in the country. We're probably going to have some dogs back that have done quite well at this show in the past. So I would look for some of them to show up at the end, but every day is a different day in the dog show world. Again, what we were just talking about with judges, this may be my favorite Afghan hound, but the guy who's judging Afghan hounds today might like a different type, a different look, and have a different idea of what the dog should be like. So every day is a different.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
The old-time dog show judge said to me once, he says, it's a dog show and you got to show. So not only do you have to look good, and you got to look like the standard tells you you should look, you've got to put on a show, because that's part of it. But every breed has a little different personality. Some dogs are supposed to be exuberant and flying around, and other dogs are supposed to be standing there looking at you and be a little bit leery of what's going on in the world. So as a judge, you have to take that into consideration too. If I've got a dog that goes out there and throws a great stack in the ring and stands there like a statue, that's different than what you would expect a Cavalier to do, or an English Choice, your breed. That they've got a different personality and a different idea of what has to be done in this world.
Well, it's like you said, form and function, right?
Generally speaking, that's true. A lot, but these dogs, that are bred to sit on your lap, again, like your ETs, you don't have to worry so much. You want them to be able to get to the food dish. You want them to be able to come to the door when you get home to welcome you home, but they don't have to go out and run down any cell or anything.
Where can we watch the National Dog Show? And also give us the website.
Well, good that you would ask. It is, of course, on NBC on Thanksgiving Day at noon in all time zones, on NBC. And you get to see it right after the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That helps deliver an audience to us that's been in the 20 to 25 million range almost every year of those 20 years. And my partner, John O'Hurley, and Mary Carrillo working in the back and doing the on-floor reporting. We will tell you about these dogs and about the dog show. So you can also find it online at nds.nationaldogshow.com.
Thanks for viewing our content on Pet Buzz Plus.